F1 should remove safety car finishes. Oh yes, it's that old debate of the show versus the sport. When Daniel Ricciardo pulled off track to retire at the end of the Italian Grand Prix, we were expecting a grandstand finish when the safety car came out with just a handful of laps to go. That wasn't the case though, and the race wasn't restarted, and it finished with Max Verstappen taking the victory behind the Aston Martin safety car. The only Aston Martin to finish. Sorry. But it posed the question to all of us. Is it time for Formula 1 to do something to make sure the fans get a show to the finish? The sport itself has gone from reasonably popular to completely mainstream. Are safety car finishes a thing of the past? Should F1 do more to make sure we steer clear of anticlimactic endings to races? We were watching along over on Twitch, WTF1 Official for those wondering, go follow, and there was a huge outcry from fans about what a disappointment it was that we didn't get a race to the finish. Charles Leclerc, Mattia Binotto, not surprised about those two, and even Lewis Hamilton have voiced their unhappiness with the safety car finish, and the Tifosi made their feelings known with a ring of boos around Monza, which were no doubt aimed at their biggest rival winning the race, but also the fact that they'd not seen a proper finish. It's the hope of a Ferrari win that kills you, trust me. Now, we were disappointed enough watching at home, but imagine being there. We know how expensive F1 is to attend these days, so imagine travelling to the race, being sat in the crowd and then not seeing a proper end to the race. Now this goes for any event, not just the Italian Grand Prix, I'm just talking for future races, and the Italian Grand Prix is a great example and a reason why this video is being made. Making sure the race doesn't end behind the safety car was of course famously discussed ahead of the season finale at Abu Dhabi last year. Abu Dhabi 2021 is still a touchy subject, and rightly so. It was ridiculous. But imagine that disappointment of the Italian Grand Prix that we just had, and put that on the 2021 season finale. There's no argument, it would have been the right thing to do in terms of fairness, but the disappointment of that safety car finish at Monza, imagine that times 100 last year. It's no wonder F1 teams wanted to make sure we didn't get that kind of finish to decide last year's title. And yes, before you shout in the comments, I'm not defending how it was done, I'm merely suggesting that maybe there needs to be methods put in place to make sure safety car finishes are a thing of the past. It's amazing to me that after Abu Dhabi that they didn't come up with a solution to make sure races don't end under a safety car while still keeping things within the rules. In Baku, we saw a red flag and a restart from a standing start, a solution that a lot of people thought would have been the best and fairest way to end the race in Abu Dhabi last year while still making sure the race didn't end behind the safety car. Could this have been the solution in Monza? In NASCAR, they have something called a green-white checker, also known as overtime, where the race distance is extended to make sure there's a proper finish. So it's been seen in other motorsport series before, and I don't personally think that's too gimmicky not to be implemented in Formula 1. Of course, some will say this is all nonsense. At the end of the day, football games sometimes end in a 0-0 draw. That's sport. Why should an incident be covered any differently just because it happens in the last 10 laps instead of the first 10 laps? I see this as a bit of an apples and oranges comparison though. In football, you don't have the tense last 5 minutes of a match be completely wiped out because someone is injured on the floor. The time gets extended. It's certainly a topic that can be debated very, very heavily. F1 will never be able to make everyone happy, that's clear. Changing the sport for entertainment purposes will make some fans switch off for it being too artificial, while not improving the show will make other fans turn off for it being boring. For me, I don't like seeing a race finish behind the safety car, and if I'd spent £500 on a grandstand ticket, plus flights, plus hotels, I'd be even more annoyed. All sport evolves, and I think F1 could and should do something to make sure we don't get safety car finishes in the future. There you have it, a look into why F1 should maybe, potentially, remove safety car finishes. What do you think? Are they just a part of racing? Or should F1 do something to make sure fans get a proper finish? Let us know in the comment section below.